Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to Leo season. We have made it. We made it through Cancer season, and here we are in the thick of eclipse season. So speaking of that, I did eclipse oracle readings for all signs. The link for your sign watching here is below. Also, everything I'm about to talk about is in the description box below. Of course, if you want a private reading with me, you can access that below to my booking system. Prices are going to be going up for my birthday in Virgo season, so take advantage of those prices now. If you want access to the mid-month readings, you have two options for that. I now offer the ability to buy them by sign individually, or of course, you can join Siren Gang where you pay monthly and you get access to all 12 of the readings, plus a weekly energetic blog, plus $3 off my services. But when my prices go up, that discount will go from $3 off to $5 off. And I also listed some crystal sets for sale on my website as well, along with, of course, my ritual kit. So the description of that is below, and I've already sold about half of them. And if you guys really like them, I will start stocking them more often. I was just trying to gauge where everything was at. All the crystal sets that we have on the site now are going to be charged under the eclipses, so you have the opportunity to add any additional intentions you have and things like that and get them charged up. Of course, as always, if you have any questions for me or not sure which reading to get or whatever, of course, email me. The description is below. And if you want access to me on a more regular basis, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @_spiritual_siren. Mwah. Capricorn. So I do feel like your levels of feeling free, like freedom, like just freedom from responsibility, freedom from aggressive emotions, freedom from people's aggravation, whatever the case may be, whatever has been making you feel unburdened, or burdened rather, I do feel that you're getting a reprieve from that this month, but it's going to require you to have a carefree attitude, and a more like light-hearted attitude. That doesn't mean you're just like passive and things brush off of you, but the Queen of Wands is really saying like, I don't give a shit what anybody has to say about me. I'm going to go and pursue my desires and do what I want to do to an extent without regard for anybody else. For some of you that may not pan out as well, for others of you, you know, that's exactly what you want to do and you don't really care. Because I am getting like a selfish vibe here, which isn't bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's only bad if you are literally like hurting other people on purpose, which I don't necessarily see that. But there is a need to do what makes you feel alive, okay? And not care about what other people have to say about that, whether or not it's practical, whether or not it's feasible, whatever. Because with the Six of Wands and the Ace of Swords here, you realize that, I feel like you're realizing that how you're seen, for better or worse. So you need to shine regardless. So you may be realizing that no matter what you do, you're always going to get attention. So you might as well spin the attention into a form that you can use, that you can monetize, that you can benefit off of. Because you don't want this to turn into attention that ends up having you put your foot in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So when you get this kind of attention, you realize that you can leverage it in some capacity. And I don't think you realize that you had this many eyes on you prior. Okay? So the key to being successful here is knowing that all eyes are on you. So you might as well put on the best possible show while also still doing what you want to do. And then at the end here with Death and the Two of Wands, there's this message that, you know, I'm almost feeling like there is no other way. Like with the Two of Wands here, I feel like you might be scrapping a backup plan. Okay? Because, right, the Two of Wands is a vision. It's about moving beyond the original inspiration. And Death is saying that you need to surrender. So you may be worried about thinking about what you will do if this backfires, what you do if that backfires. You know, like keeping a lot of things in the back burner as potentials and maybes. And I think Spirit is going to come in here and really clear out those options and show you that you have to just work on one thing right now. Okay, that definitely could be it as well. All right, Capricorn. First of all, there's a lot tension in your body. Like, you really need to stretch, like, stretch out your physical body. I also feel like you need to stretch your mind. There's a certain level... Oh, I just gotta chill. There's a certain level of rigidity that you feel you thrive in, right? And to an extent, you're correct, right? Because you've made it this far, and, you know, you remember the times you've trusted people, and, you know, they've forsaken you, and all this other stuff, right? Okay. Like, heavy on the drama. I mean, it's Leo season. I feel like this is like I really feel like some, like, 14th, 15th century, like, duel, like, or what is it called when they ride on the horses and they hit each other. I feel like that is what's playing out right now. Jousting. Like, this is some very dramatic visualization that I'm getting. Anyways, and you're like, I know what I need. I know what I'm going to do. And that is just the end of that. Okay? And it's not that you're wrong, right? Or it's not like what you're choosing to do or which way you're choosing to look at something won't keep you out, you know, keep you out of the fray. Or, you know, it's not like you won't be safe with what you're choosing. But, like, there's safety, like, okay, don't get killed, right? Like, I'm not getting killed, that's safe. And then there's safety in, like, trust. So there needs to be more incorporation of some type of faith-based security net, okay? And the way, you guys can't, like, totally see me, but I keep, like, rubbing my face, and, like, you know, like, when someone's stressed out, and they just keep rubbing their face, like, because they're tired, like, rubbing their eyes, rubbing their skin. I don't even do that normally, and that's, like, all I keep doing, and I feel like you're in deep, I don't even want to say contemplation, because I feel like you already know the answer. I feel like you know to take things to the next level, you can't be so serious, and you do have to try to trust people again, and you do have to go through this forgiveness process, and forgiveness is an ever unfolding thing. It doesn't just happen overnight. Everything is step by step, and I feel like that is kind of defeating to you because it feels like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. You know, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back is just like not enough progress for you. So you'd rather just buckle down and just do it. You know what I mean? But with the 3 of Cups, your overall energy for August, I feel like this is about friends. Who else got this? Somebody else got this. And what a friend means to you. Okay? In assessing your friendships and what it... Libra, that's who got it. And what does it mean to be celebrated? And what does it mean to live a life that is worth celebrating? Your overall lesson for this month, if I was called to pull oracle cards, is worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change any outcome. Virgo got this card. We do have the Hermit down here. I feel like you guys get the Hermit a lot. So, first of all, that's very straightforward. Worry does not change the outcome. And I feel like your biggest issue, if you will, this month that you're going through is attempting to protect yourself from potential threats. But all of that effort you put into shielding yourself actually makes you tired and drained from threats that you did not predict, or you are so drained when the threat then manifests because you put so much energy into, like, maybe this will happen to me, that you can't even, you know what I'm saying? You can't even really back it out. You're, like, so tired. You're like, oh my gosh, like, I can't continue to fight this fight, yet you're worried about there's something that you need to protect yourself from. I feel like that's a huge thing, huge thing. Now, to kind of go into protection in a different format, psychic warfare is real. You know, psychic vampirism is real. But what I will say is, to an extent, our belief in its existence, our belief in something is threatening our well-being, plays a role in how effective it is on you. okay? Because it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm going to burn some Palo Santo, I'm going to put on some frankincense, and, you know, my aura is sealed, I'm good for the day. There's that level of protection, and then there's rearranging your life and rearranging the way that you interact with people that you regard as friends, that you regard as, you know, close proximity people, to shield yourself from them. Because I feel like there's people that you regard as friends and that you think in your heart are like the closest people to you, but they don't even know you. And they can't even get close to you. And this may be you experiencing this with other people as well, you know, because this can all be vice versa. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's all because you're so worried about getting hurt. So worried about being taken advantage of. So worried about what's going to happen the second you let your guard down. But all of that energy you're putting into being guarded is making it harder for you to just function and to just enjoy life, okay? Because there's more love that wants to flow to you. There's more. There's so much more that wants to come to you, and you're like, psh, 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 like trying to just block it on every side. And that's exhausting, Capricorn. I know you're exhausted. I know you're exhausted. And this card being purple is also, you're worried that your intuition is off. Because, you know, usually when we don't trust other people, it's because there's been times where we didn't trust our own judgment. So we have this program built in our body, and it can be from childhood, that like, you know, our parents told us like, okay, you feel this way. And they were like, no, there's nothing wrong. No, there's nothing wrong. But you knew it was. And then it ended up playing out, and they just ignored it. So you were taught to not trust what you feel, right? So there's a disconnection between all that. So you went through your adult life and you didn't trust your gut, and you allowed people close to you that at the end of the day, if you had trusted your gut or had a connection to it, you wouldn't have let in, right? And now you start becoming self-aware, and you realize that your gut is calling to you, but your trauma is calling to you, and you're trying, you know, both of them are butting heads, like trust yourself, don't trust anybody. Trust yourself, don't trust anybody. So there's that ongoing constant battle of how can I be safe? How can I protect myself from these threats? Okay? But to an extent, you're manifesting threats and manifesting things to worry about. And this isn't about taking back people that have outright harmed you. None of that. None of that. Because, you know, that is self-harm. Okay? Forgiving people that are outright disrespectful, that are outright, you know, gaslighting us and whatever is self-harm. However, we're talking about people that, you know, want to celebrate you, that want to support you, all right? I love y'all so much, like I really do. What Spirit is asking you to release? We have the 9 of Cups with the King of Cups. And on the King of Cups, we have the rune Destiny. So this is an interesting combination. I feel with the King of Cups here, you know, being, you know, Cancer isn't necessarily the King of Cups, but this is kind of like your opposite. Now, the King of Cups is someone who feels that they have completely balanced logic and emotional understanding, right? This is a card of emotional maturity. Emotional maturity cannot be achieved in a life of solitude. It cannot be achieved by only focusing on what works for you, what you need. And it's not because selfishness is wrong or focusing on your own specific needs is wrong, because there are times and places that do that, but that isn't necessarily a signal of like mastery, because the King of Cups has mastered his emotional body and understands that sometimes you listen to that and sometimes you don't. So I feel like there's this idea that you can all by yourself without reconciling with people or without hearing people out, because it's another thing. The King of Cups is like the person who's always available to lean on, who always you can like share you know, your sentiments with. So if you've been on a journey where you either feel like it's like it's something where it's like 100% of one or the other. It's like you're always this other person's shoulder to cry on, or people come to you with their problems and whatever, right? And it's all that all the time. So you were like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to worry about myself and my needs and whatever. And then you also don't hear other people. So it can't be 100% of anything, Capricorn. And that's why we have the 6 of Pentacles here in the advice. Because we need reciprocity. We need balance. You need to, as a Capricorn, embrace, right, the need for emotional security just as much as you need financial security. Financial and physical security will never replace what it feels like to be in the arms of someone that you know loves you and that you're willing to be vulnerable with, because you understand that without vulnerability, the connection is shallow. It's a puddle, not an ocean. Okay? And I feel like you think that you've come to some type of total understanding. Like, I totally know how my emotions function. I totally know what to do with them. And it's not that you haven't learned a lot, but you're not quite there. Okay? Because there's this whole idea that you've like lived and breathed this path and you've just finished. Now, maybe you've finished, again, always being the listener for people, or always having people that just listen to your shit, right? But I feel like overall there needs to just be harmony in your relationships. And again, that's going to require in some scenarios where you say, hey, I need to be heard too. I love you, but I need to be heard too. I have needs too. And then in other relationships saying, you know what, I understand that I'm talking a lot. Or I understand that, you know, I take on this role of listener and I don't ever ask for my needs to get met. And that's another thing. Sometimes we're not vocal about what our needs are. And then we're mad at people that they don't meet them. Okay? Now, if you verbalize them, what their needs are, and they try and you block them, or if you verbalize your needs and then they just ignore them, then that's a different story, right? That's an exit sign. The door that's not open for you that was once closed, we have the 5 of Cups, clarified by the 7 of Cups, and on the 7 of Cups, we have victory. So I feel like there's this big cloud, right? Like when you're alone, you just kind of fantasize about all the ways that you can like get yourself out of problems. There's a lot of this like potential, right? We were talking about in the beginning, like back burner energy, because the 5 of Cups is things that have long gone awry, right? This is not new disappointments. These are not new things that have upset you. This is the past being alive and well in your field, right? Continuing to reactivate the past and saying, oh, if this repeats itself, I'm going to do this. Or, oh, if this repeats itself, I'm going to do that. So I feel like there's this thought form, this literal energetic cloud that you've created that kind of floats in when you start to get a little bit low. And you're thinking about all the ways that you have failed to overcome this, or the people that have forsaken you, or the people that have disappointed you. And because I don't think that, you know, I think that you are going to come into the power to overcome this, but it's going to, again, require that you trust yourself and that you trust that the people that you allow close to you will respect you. And that if you listen to your intuition, which is a whisper, not a yell, because only our pain yells, because it's hurt and it's traumatized and our inner child is throwing a tantrum or trying to protect itself, that you can overcome all these potential worries. I feel like it's like, well, in the past, X, Y, and Z happened, so maybe this will happen, maybe this will happen, maybe this will happen. It's like all of these like ways you could fail, all these ways that you can get hurt, that just you kind of just play with. And they keep you in a state of immobility because you're afraid to move forward with something. It's like, well, I don't know if I have a backup plan in place. If this person hurts me, I need to be able to exit this way. I don't really want to be scathed. I don't really want to have to do more than like a patch up on my arm. I don't want to have to pull out a whole bullet. I don't want to have to pull out a whole arrow. You know what I'm saying? It's like a constant, you're putting a lot of energy into what would happen, like what you would do if something went wrong. Okay, and I'm exhausted thinking about that. And I want to cry for you because that is such a hard way to live. And I also know that on the flip side of that, if you're experiencing this from other people, how sad it makes you that the person just won't accept that you love them or that you want to make them feel safe. But I know that you also know that you can't make anybody process this level of trauma. They have to do it on their own, right? And so just like there's a lot of sadness on both ends of that energy. And there's, again, a lot of worry tied into like, well, what's going to happen to them if they don't heal, or what's going to happen to me if I don't let anybody in? Like, it's a cycle. It's a very perpetuating, I'm feeling like a very, like a hamster wheel type of energy, okay? You guys need to really ask yourself, too, what a friend means to you. What does it mean to be supported? What does it mean to be loved? What does safety look like to you? What does safety feel like to you? And it's okay if you've never experienced it. But in that regard, fantasy is appropriate, right? But use your imagination for things that can breed new possibility. Your current energy as it relates to all of this, in your head, we have the 5 of Swords with the rune safety. In your heart, we have the Ace of Wands. And in your foundation, we have the Hermit and the Knight of Cups. Now, I feel like this Ace of Wands is a resuscitation. I feel like the paddles are getting put on you from the universe. Maybe it's because Hermit and Knight of Cups, you've realized that there's a lot more love that you deserve to give to yourself. Okay, and that all that energy you put on defending yourself or worried about how you're going to shield yourself or whatever, if you just turned all that energy inward, you would have a lot of love and nourishment to give to yourself, because the Knight of Cups takes his time. He's a very sweet lover, right? He's tender and he's aware and he's soft and it's like when someone grazes your arm in this very soft way that just makes you feel like the world can melt, you know? And you need to find the place in yourself that is crying for that, right? You need to take the time out from the chaos, from the calamity, from your social life, from other people that are going to allow you to rejuvenate yourself. Okay, if this is Virgo energy, you may seek that Virgo to help you tap into this space, or maybe you feel like that relationship needs that. But with the Ace of Wands here, again, I feel like there's this new breath of life that you'll find from really asking yourself what your emotional needs are, right? How you can get more in touch with your creativity. What part of you is beckoning for attention, right? Because again, a lot of your energy has been very externalized, or again, very focused on how to protect yourself, and you need to turn it back inward on yourself and your own personal needs, not getting mad that no one can meet those needs, because I don't think you even really know what they are, because I think that you're in a little bit of a sporadic type of energy. With the 5 of Swords in your head, again, and safety, I feel like you're just having arguments with people about what does or does not work for you, or what does or does not infringe on you, and all this kind of stuff. But again, it's very externalized, and no one wins this conversation. There is no winning. And again, mentally, I feel like that's what you're concerned about. You're like, that's gonna, you know, make me feel this, but you're not saying that. You're like, this one's gonna infringe on me, this one's gonna hurt me, that's gonna be something that hurts me down the road, whatever. But there's nothing to talk about. Okay, the talking needs to stop, to other people and to yourself. Stop talking to yourself about anything. You know, safety is a feeling. Safety is a resonance. It's something that we grant ourselves. Sometimes it's through action, because we're in a bad living situation and we have to give ourselves safety. You know, there's real physical threats. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a feeling unsafe, like just even in our own body, right? And there needs to be a coming home to yourself. I feel in a big way you need to have a homecoming with yourself, because there's a big piece of you that has felt abandoned and alone for a really long time. And I think a lot of life is triggering that right now, and really questioning whether or not you've done the healing, or that if you are self-aware, or if you are, capable of celebrating yourself, or capable of being surrounded by people that actually love you, not just want to socialize with you. Okay. Spirit's advice is the 6 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands, and the 3 of Swords. On the 3 of Swords, we have protection. So again, this is a reminder that really the only way you can protect yourself from getting hurt is to create healthy, reciprocal, respectful relationships. Okay? That's really the only way. But if you're afraid to give someone more of yourself or take a piece back of yourself because you're not sure what kind of repercussion that will create or what type of domino effect that will create. Again, there's a functioning from pain. Okay? The idea of needing to protect yourself is an idea of functioning from pain. Okay, and again, I'm not talking about just spiritually, like, okay, cleansing my aura and stuff like that. I'm talking about literally rearranging your life to create a barrier. At least energetically. It can be even physically, too. Where you don't want to share things with people, you don't want to whatever. And again, we're not talking about sacredness. We're talking about regular stuff, people that you regard as close to you. But if you also if you crave healthy reciprocal relationships and you're like, I can't find anyone that meets my needs or hears me or wants to give to me the way that I give to them or whatever, you have to ask yourself if you're afraid of what that kind of energy would require because of the inner work it would require. Because it would require that you actually know how you feel 24/7 and why you feel that way. And what caused you to feel that way. And how you've abandoned yourself and all that other kind of stuff. Okay? So it's a lot. This is a heavy reading. And I apologize for that. But you know y'all are getting it popping in this energy. I think Saturn goes direct soon too. I could be wrong though. However, Mars is retrograding back into Capricorn and is going to go direct on the 27th on my birthday. Yay me. So that is kind of, I feel Mars coming back in will give you a little bit of a boost to then break out of this rut. So use that to your advantage. You know, nothing's ever as bad as we dream it up to be. Again, that's the energy of worry. And moving into September, we have the Nine of Swords with the Ten of Swords. And on the Ten of Swords, we have luck. So this is really just believing in the power of surrender and realizing that we could sit here and worry all day and stress ourselves out all day and get anxious all day, but it feels like shit. You know, it hurts and it makes us stiff and it gives us headaches and it keeps us up at night and it's just unhealthy. You know what I mean? It's just unhealthy. And sometimes you just gotta lay it down. Lay it down. Lay down the aggravation. Lay down the need to fight. Lay down your sword and wave the white flag. Because I feel like that's where the favor will come in. You may feel like you're yielding to you know, oppressors or whatever, but you have to relax and restore yourself before you can fully take your power back as well. Okay? Spirit, what affirmation do you have for Capricorn for the month of August? I radiate success and prosper wherever I turn. I pay my bills with love and rejoice as I write out each check. Abundance flows freely through me. So it's important to remember that with every action we take, even if it's a necessary one, like paying bills, things that we can't avoid, right? Anything that you do in life that you can't avoid, that's a necessity to live on this dimension, right? It's important that you find the good feeling vibration in that and find the beauty in it in order to tap into your highest power, okay? I love y'all very much. I know this is a hard time, but I'm here for you as a sister in spirit. I love you.